what's up, guys? Mr. Free Coiner coming back to you again today. I hope everybody's doing well and you're taking care of yourselves, guys. Another great day in the crypto space. I am so very happy and so very blessed to be a part of this, to be knowledgeable at this point in time about everything that's going on. Just knowing what to look at and, just all the content creators that are providing information. This is actually, I think, one of the best times to actually be in crypto because it's not so early that there isn't a lot of information out there. And then also it's not so late that everybody else is already in it. We're in right at the perfect time to be some movers and shakers actually in the world, because what's going to happen ultimately or eventually. We're going to see a bull run. We're going to get huge profits, and we will be the ones that were in it before the droves of people actually start to come in. So that's a wonderful thing. I'm just, like I said, I'm very, very pleased with being in this position. Now, I do want to say I am not a financial analyst, and someone did mention in the comments that I should say financial advisor instead of financial analyst. But I would say this: if you look up both, you may understand why I say it the way I do. So believe me, I've already gamed this out. And from what I understand about both, what I am saying is the best way to approach it. So again, I mean, anytime we're doing anything, guys, we content creators, we have to kind of take our path, and everyone has their own path. But hey, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the tips and whatnot. Again, really, really good thing. Anytime someone throws something out there, it can definitely, be something useful at some point. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on now. As we can see here, this article says CEO's delight, Ripple XRP has low correlation with Bitcoin. So this is in regards to XRP being tied to Bitcoin's price, right? And this is a very good thing, XRP having a low correlation with Bitcoin, because that means that we are slowly breaking away from the influence that Bitcoin has over XRP. And this is something I believe is going to be absolutely necessary for us to really kind of take off without having that, the price of Bitcoin hanging over our heads. I mean, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, XRP is XRP. Everything else kind of falls in between. I believe it seems to me. But yeah, ultimately this is a good thing, as we all know. Brad Garlinghouse has mentioned or talked about the decoupling of XRP from Bitcoin, which, like I said, is a very good thing. So let's move on. All right, so Bitcoin gains 30% in April. Crypto traders say market poised for new rally. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I personally think, despite everything that's happening, right, all the news and whatnot, and we're seeing increases here and there, but there's a reason why there has not been an all-out bull run. Okay, and I personally believe the reason being given, now whether this is the actual uh, um, reason for it not happening, it kind of remains to be seen. But until regulations come through, or this Token Taxonomy Act gets passed, I kind of think it's not going to happen. I personally do believe that without this regulation, there is of course, a much higher chance of there being some type of manipulation going on, right? Which we know is happening right now, or at least that's what we're suspecting. At least I suspect. But with it being in such a um, position, in the market, I think a lot of companies may be kind of weary of the fact that there can be manipulation. They don't necessarily want to get involved in it because who wants to spend millions of dollars getting into some one of the coins, and then these games start playing. They start playing these games. That's never a good thing. So anyway, I think they have something to say about XRP. Well, I guess not. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess the title was the most interesting part of it. Okay. Not that Bitcoin's not interesting. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I like Bitcoin. I don't have a lot of it. I have a tiny bit of Bitcoin. But all in all, this is really about XRP. I think that XRP, of course, is the new kid on the block, which is soon to be the new king on the block. So, all right, moving on. Ripple CTO launches blogging platform to pay content creators XRP. So, of course, this is Coil, which has launched. I think they announced it today, a full launch. Now, I went and set up my Coil account. It was really pretty easy. I still have some things to do to kind of understand exactly how to do the monetization stuff, all that, because it's asking some questions like that. So I haven't had a chance to really sit down and dig in and just get it all set up completely. But the initial setup was pretty simple. So if any of you guys are interested in checking that out, I would definitely suggest that you do. Uh, at the very least, it's kind of storming here in North Texas. Hopefully we don't have too much flooding and all that stuff. So actually Dallas used to be really bad about flooding. So they created the kind of a canal system downtown. It used to absolutely wash out everything in Dallas itself years and years ago, but it was really bad. I mean, it still floods here and whatnot, but that's beside the point. Um, so yeah, Coil. I mean, I think XRP is, you know, it has spawned so much innovation. It is unbelievable. And with all of this, all the innovation that's being spawned, all the good news, everything that's going on around XRP, it just unfathomable that the price is where it is. So again, as I've said many, many times before, the only way that can happen is if the price is being manipulated. That's what I believe. All right. Um, so let's move on. Ripple partners with RIA Financial Services to pump up cross-border trading. So we have another company here that is apparently the number one um, payment system out there. But let me just go ahead and get into this article real quick so we can get a better understanding of what they're talking about. All right. Ripple has dominated the crypto space owing to its numerous collaborations, with the latest announcement being its participation in the Saudi British bank Saab initiative for instant cross-border payment service. At the recent Euronet conference call, Michael J. Brown, chairman, CEO, and president, announced to the world yet another partnership that will excite the Ripple ecosystem. The partnership is between RIA Financial Services and Ripple. The collaboration between the two companies is aimed at increasing the physical and digital footprint of Ripple, while allowing RIA's customers to connect and transact with Ripple's network of more than 200 financial institutions worldwide. The information was first brought to light by Twitter user Ant159694 954, who quoted a statement made by Brown. We signed an agreement with Ripple that gives a Ripple access um, hmm, that gives Ripple access to RIA's global physical and digital footprint, also allowing RIA's customers to connect and transact with Ripple's network, which includes more than 200 financial institutions worldwide. Several users on Twitter received this news with great enthusiasm. Easy Care Landscape replied to the post saying, "This is huge. Here we go." While the Euronet C-suite disclosed no further information regarding the tie-up, Brown openly invited similar players in the market to join them in order to gain mutual benefit and improve margins. So, actually, this company is using X current to, well, as far as the, within the Ripple net, they're using X current, which of course makes sense if you tie in what I said earlier. A lot of companies are not wanting to necessarily go all in with the crypto or, with XRP or whatever, simply because of the possibility of heavy manipulation. Without these regulations in place, there's really not a whole lot to stop that. Okay, so they're I would say they're mitigating the amount of risk that they are exposing themselves to, as it relates to having more contact with the cryptocurrency itself. Now, some companies and whatnot, they're just really kind of plowing right on in, and I think maybe those folks like when it comes to Nasdaq and whatnot, they may have an inside track on what's happening in the background. But we shall see. I personally believe there are certain ones that know the regulation is about to come into existence and really come into fruition. That's what we're at least that's what I'm hoping. I think though it has to be kind of uh, there has to be some kind of information out there where they understand that it's about to happen soon, because otherwise it's hard to say, it's hard to really imagine that many of these huge companies would take such risk, when without the regulation it can be manipulated so easily. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. At least that's the way, like I said, guys, that's the way I'm seeing it. Simply my thoughts and opinions on it. So one thing I did want to mention is that we are in a kind of a strange time because of social media, because of the equipment that we have that allows us the level of communication that we are privy to, that we have access to. I think part of the reason why it's the government and the US is going so slowly is because we are so much faster. As users out here, we're moving a lot faster than they are. When in the past, it's always been the other way around. The people always have to catch up with what's happening. When it comes to different innovations and things just kind of getting pushed to widespread public, but not necessarily getting pushed out there, but kind of getting put in place. This is really the first time with this level of information that we have, at our fingertips. I think it's put them in kind of an awkward situation. They're still moving on that time. But I mean, again, guys, this is just my opinions. I could be totally wrong about that, but this is just what I see. There are a lot of reasons I believe that things like this are happening. Not to mention an intentional slowing that kind of, that's them really kind of pulling on the reins also. So, I mean, I don't believe it's any one scenario that's causing it. I think it's kind of there are multiple things that are happening in the background that's causing it to kind of go very slowly. And also, guys, I mean, me throwing on my tinfoil hat, there are people in the background, the they that we constantly talk about, they're controlling it. They want to make sure it's set in place in a way that they can reap the most benefit, because this system is built on, or built by those that, really kind of control everything. So, guys, that's just my opinion on that. So, like I said, please only take it as that. Now, another thing that I was wanting to say is that every coin that gets, that starts to pump a little bit, just be very careful. Okay, when you hear a lot of people talking about it, even Casino Coin, and I think that could be a very good project. I think that I've listened to the creator. He seems like a pretty genuine guy. He had a vision that he's trying to, achieve and really bring into being. And I don't detect anything malicious from the guy. It's just that, his project was essentially lacking funds. And from what I could see, it wasn't that he was trying to do anything himself. It just so happened somebody heard about or read about the fact that they're built on XRP's network. So, it just kind of took off from there. Now, I guess my whole point is just be careful when you hear about these pumps. If you get involved, just make sure you're not getting in at the high. You can kind of look at the where it is. I mean, if you see a huge pump and it's just going on up and it's already kind of, say 50, 60% higher than it started out at, you might want to kind of take a pass on that. If you didn't hear about it and you're actually kind of getting in late, a lot of times that's the wrong end to get in on when it comes to these different pumps. So again, just be careful. I'm not giving you advice or anything like that. I'm just speaking just plain old common sense. Just, and also just caution. Just be careful with your funds. Like I said, it's just out of concern, and I definitely want to make sure that everybody's good and you're not wasting your money. As I've mentioned before, I've wasted enough money for probably all of us. So anyway, guys, that is all I have for you today. I really appreciate you joining me tonight. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also the like button and the post notification button, just to remind you. Until next time, this has been Mr. Freecoiner. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.